Hey everybody, Bob Gager from Adobe here, and it's time to hang out with Bob. This is an opportunity for me to chat live with our Photoshop Elements users, answer your questions, give you some tips and tricks and techniques in using Photoshop Elements, and hopefully get your skill set raised a little bit so you can enjoy how the product works. Let's see, one thing here, there we go, that's good. All right, so today I want to spend a little bit of time showing you how to create a photo collage in a straight grid format, simple photo grid photo collage. This question actually came in through our Facebook page. Let me share my screen here so you can see some interesting stuff. Desktop, start screen share, there we go. This is the post that came in from Barbara to the Photoshop Elements Facebook page. And Barbara was asking if there's a simple way to make a photo grid. She knows there's a collage feature that's built into Photoshop Elements, but the collage feature, as she points out, doesn't actually have a straight photo grid layout. It's got some other interesting layouts, of course, but there isn't a photo grid, which is what she was after. So here's an example. Barbara was kind enough to post an example of what she's trying to do. Just a pretty straightforward grid of images in a single document. And so I'm going to show you how to do that in Photoshop Elements. Let me switch over to Photoshop Elements. There you go. Let me undo the last thing I did. There we go. So now we're ready to go. All right. So I've got a number of photos open. From the bottom of my I've actually open. I'm going to create a 9x9 photo collage. The photo bin, if you've never used it before, you can show it or hide it by clicking this little icon down here in the bottom left corner. But when you are showing it, it has a number of different capabilities. One of them, of course, is show open files, which is how I have it set. And so these are the 9 files that I currently have open. All right, so the first thing that we need to do before we start putting the files together in the same document is resize the files so that they're all square and that they're all more or less the same size. And the way we do that is up here in the image menu up top, image menu, resize. And there's a couple of different resize options. What I want to use right now is canvas size. So I'm going to select canvas size and I get a dialog box like this, which gives me a couple options for how I want to resize my photo. I'm going to switch this to pixels instead of resizing by a percentage. I want to actually be very specific about the number of pixels in my image. So I switch to pixels. I'm going to set it to 500 pixels by 500 pixels. And then I've got this little grid here. Since 500 by 500 is smaller than my original photo, some clipping or cropping is going to happen. And I can either leave it set like that, where it will crop right in the center of this ocean shot that I took. Or I can say, maybe crop from the bottom up, or the top down, or from the bottom right corner out. So I can control exactly how my image is cropped as I resize it and make it smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the bottom right corner. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to warn me that some clipping will happen because the canvas size I'm changing to is smaller than the current canvas size. Go ahead and click proceed, and you can see it's resized my photo to 500 pixels by 500 pixels, and it's started from my bottom right corner and gone up and cropped out the rest of the photo. So I'll do that one more time to this picture here. Again, image, resize, canvas size, change from percent to pixels, and I want them all to be 500 by 500. For this particular image, I don't want this bottom right corner. That's kind of boring. I kind of want the top center because that's where there's more interest in my photo. So now I would click this little spot in the grid up top, and it'll start from the top center and then go 500 pixels down and wide from there. So I'll go ahead and click OK. Again, I get that warning. If I get tired of these warnings, just tick Don't Show Again, and I'll never see that warning again. But I'll just go ahead and click Proceed. And now this image as well has been cropped to 500 pixels by 500 pixels. Now I've gone ahead and done that to the other images that I'm going to use. I'm not going to make you guys watch me resize 9 different images. Hopefully with those first 2, you get the idea of how to do it. So now I've got 9 different images that are all sized 500 pixels by 500 pixels. So they're all nice and square aspect ratios. All right, next step would be to start my new document. So under the File menu, way up top, up here in our menus is File, of course, and I'm going to do File, New, Blank File. And I'll get a dialog box that looks like this that lets me put in some different options. I can set the height and the width of my document that I'm about to create. I'm going to set it to 1500 pixels wide by 1500 pixels tall, because remember we created our images at 500 by 500, and we're going to do a 3 by 3 grid, so that means our final document needs to be 1500 by 1500. I can set the resolution to anything I want. My original images are at 100 pixels per inch, so I'm going to make this document 100 pixels per inch as well. You can, of course, change these numbers to fit your needs. If you want higher resolution images, you can set that to anything that you want. So I'm going to go ahead, 1500 by 1500 at 100 pixels per inch, and click OK. All right, so a new blank document has been created for me. And the rest is pretty much just all about dragging and dropping. Over here on the left, in our toolbar, in the Select section is a tool that we call our Move tool. So go ahead and click on the Move tool. And now with the photo bin open and all 9 photos along the bottom, just start dragging and dropping those photos in. Now when I drag and drop, it's actually going to place it right in the center. So I have both photos here, but one is on top of the other. What we're doing is as we drag these photos in is creating new layers. Each time we drop a photo in, it creates a new layer. So this panel over on the right is our layers panel. If it's not showing, make sure that this little icon right here down the bottom, layers, is checked, and that'll show your layers panel. This isn't really a tutorial on layers, but kind of think of them as just stacks of photos on top of each other, all in the same photo document. With my Move tool, I can move layers around. So if I want this one maybe in the top right corner, this photo maybe in the bottom right corner, I can move them anywhere I want them. Kind of as simple as that. So just go ahead and get some images in. I'm going to start just by dragging 3 of them in. Now there's several ways to arrange my photos in that grid that Barbara is interested in. I can just move them, and you see if I go really slow, as I get near an edge, it'll actually snap against the edge. So Photoshop Elements will help me get things lined up by doing some snapping. So I'll drag this one down to the bottom left, and it'll snap right up against the bottom left corner. This one I'll drag right here in the middle. Snapping will happen vertically between the 2 images, and of course as I get near the left edge, it'll snap right to that left edge. So that's one way to get things lined up nicely. Let me drag 3 more photos in. 1, 2, 3. Move them around so they're not right on top of each other. If I select all 3 of them, so if I click on one, click on this iguana face here, hold my Shift key down to click on this center one, and then hold my Shift key down to click on the bottom one of the cat, I've selected all 3 layers. And you can see that over here. This blue highlighting shows me that those 3 layers are selected. And now this bottom section, instead of looking at my photo bin, if I click this button here, Tool Options, I'll switch over to my tool options. And I've got the Move tool selected, so all of these options have something to do with my Move tool. And we've got some Align and Distribute capabilities. So in the Align section, if I want to align all of these maybe on their right edges, I can click right, and you can see it automatically aligns all 3 of those. Then if I do something like move that one all the way to the top, move that one all the way to the bottom, and then again click all 3. Oops, I clicked on the rotate thing, just click all 3. And now in Distribute, oops, 1, 2, there we go. Now in Distribute, I want to distribute maybe based on their center position. So one click, Photoshop Elements will automatically align them right, left, middle, center, distribute top, bottom, all those kind of good things to help me rearrange things if I don't want to rely on the snapping capability that's built in. So these are, excuse me, these are all three aligned and distributed evenly. They're all three selected, so as I drag one, it's actually going to drag all three, and I'm just going to drag them over to the right. And again, that group now will snap against that right edge. All right, so let's get the last three in. I'm going to switch back to my photo bin. Again, down here in the bottom left is the photo bin icon. I've got three more images, so let's get this iguana face up there. Maybe we want him up top next to his buddy, or maybe we want him down in the bottom next to the cat. Who knows? The arrangement is up to you. Let's drop this one kind of right in the middle. Excuse me. And the monkey, let's drag and drop the monkey in as well. We're going to put him up top. Some other kind of interesting things that you might want to do as you're laying stuff out is rotate things. So maybe let's move the monkey out of the way. Let's put this iguana up top in that section. And then under Edit, oops, I'm sorry, under Image, rotate, flip layer horizontal. So that's going to take that selected layer, which is this middle iguana face, middle top iguana face. It's going to flip it horizontally, and so now we've got the two iguanas in a stare down. We can also now pull our monkey down here, and now the cat is stalking the monkey. So lots of tricks you can do to get your photos arranged and organized and flipped or rotated exactly as you want them. So that, excuse me, nothing like having a coughing attack on a live broadcast. Anyway, that is how I would create a photo grid, 9x9 if you want to do, I'm sorry, 3x3 if you want to do a 4x4. The technique is exactly the same. Just worry about what size you want your images. Make a document that is going to be able to hold all of them, and then just start dragging and dropping and making them interesting. So what I would actually do, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to give you another little kind of tip that's going to make this photo grid collage look a little more interesting. And that's create some borders around each of these images. So I'm going to click on one image. I'll click the top left ocean image. And what I want to do is come up to my layer menu and the layer style choice and pick style settings. And that's going to open up a dialog box that lets me do some basic styling of each of these layers. What I want to do is actually do stroke. So I'm going to check stroke. I'm going to pick a color. I'll actually pick white. And then instead of outside, which outside means it's actually being covered up by my other photos, I want to position it inside, and it'll actually pull it inside my photo. And then I can control how big it is. So I can create a really big border. I can create a small border, whatever I want. Maybe I'll go to about 10 pixels. I don't want it too much. I just want a nice inner border to highlight each image. And I can also do something like change opacity if I want to tone it down a little bit or keep it fully white. I can make those controls as well. So there's some other styles. There's some beveling we can do if we wanted to do some funky beveling of our images or whatnot. I actually don't like that for this particular grid layout. I'm just going to add this stroke. If I don't like white, I can pick any color I want, but I actually like white. It gives a nice clean look. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it's applied that layer style to this layer. To get it to the others, I could go step by step for all of them, or I can go to Layer, Layer Style, Copy Layer Style, and then select each layer, Layer Style, Paste. So let's see, I think I can maybe even do all the layers at once. Let's give that a try. I've actually never tried this. You should never try something for the first time when you're broadcasting live, but what the heck? Layer style, paste layer style, and it works. So it pasted that grid to all 9 of my photos in just one go. So there we have it. We've got a nice photo grid. If you like the white borders, you can add that layer style like I did. If you don't like the white borders, you can leave it off. Completely up to you and whatever creative nuances you might want to have into your document. Of course, at this point, I can save it. I can print it. I can share it to Facebook. From our share menu, we have lots of sharing capabilities. I can go right up to Facebook or Flickr or Twitter, or even post it up to my SmugMug gallery. Lots of different options for me to get this out to friends and family so they can enjoy my photo collage grid as well. So there you go, Barbara. Hope that helps you understand how to create something like this inside Photoshop Elements. And hopefully my explanation was easy enough that you can go do it with your photos and be successful. Take care, and until the next Hangout with Bob, give Photoshop Elements a try. If you've got questions, post them on our Facebook page, and maybe I'll use your question for the next subject of the next Hangout with Bob. Take care.